quite a lot of stuff. Let's unwrap.
If you're new here, we're Ben and Shelley, and have we got a monumental task ahead of us. We're converting this brand new van into our dream home on wheels. We've done the whole van life thing before, so this isn't our first rodeo, but we've got a trick up our sleeve as we've enlisted the help of Shelley's dad Terry. And well, let's just say he's pretty handy on the old tools. So follow along as the three of us attempt to turn this empty van into a luxury off-grid camper.
Boom. That was the tow bar. On my shin. Oh, that hurt a lot.
Today we're going all things insulation and sound deadening. As you'll see, it's a lengthy process, but totally worth it, as I also hope that you'll see.
This stuff weighs a ton. Got a lot to do. We've got a lot of stuff to do it with.
So as you can probably tell, we ended up going with the car builder's kit. Definitely more on the expensive side, but we do think it's worth it. Everything is just lightweight, really easy to use. But basically, like we've said before, any of the insulation, any of the other options are going to be good. We did end up just spending the extra bit of money and going with this. We ended up getting the large van pack, and it's come with everything. It's really well laid out. It's got really clear instructions. The good thing about it is it's a 3-part process. So we can do stage 1, which is the sound deadening, but it's also got the reflective on it, which means that's going to reflect some of the sun away, as well as help with the sound. And obviously it's another layer, so it's insulation. We've got layer 2, which is the insulation, and then after layer stage 1 and stage 2, you can then install your electrics and put all your wires rather than hiding them behind everything. Then we'll get all our wiring, and then we'll do the 3rd stage, which is an optional extra, which is creating a thermal barrier, which is, yeah, really lightweight stuff. Definitely going to help, and it creates that barrier. There's some science behind it. We'll try and put up a little image or whatever for that now, but we'll show you the 3 different stages of the car builders. This is the sound deadener. As I said before, it comes with this silver bit. Oh, hang on. Ben's got one. Open over here. Here's one we prepared earlier. So, super compact. Oh, it's quite dense actually, isn't it? This is why you pay the extra, so it's super easy to install. You literally undo this and stick it on where it needs to go. Now, this is a step we're not going to do. We're obviously going to clean it a little bit, but because we've got a brand new van, we don't need to worry about rust, dust, cleanliness. It's all clean. So we are going to wipe it down because it has been sitting somewhere for like a year before we install it and stick everything on, because it's going to make things stick better. And once you cover it up, obviously you can't fix this in the future. So if you've got an older van, or even if it's a couple of years old, really make sure to go through and clean everything thoroughly, get rid of all of the muck, do any rust treatment that you need to do. We are lucky we get to skip this stage. But yeah, super easy to install, and it even comes with this snazzy little insulation kit, which is packaged so cute. So you're obviously paying a premium for all of this, but convenience is helpful. So it's got this little roller that helps you put it on, and yeah, comes with a stubby cooler, a sticker, and a bunch of other stuff. All the tape, literally everything you need. And coming into our storage area, we've got something else car builders, self-adhesive spray, and then we've got these liners here. So these are stage 2 and stage 3. We'll explain those when we go to do them. But yeah, super well laid out. This table is getting very full, so we better get putting stuff onto this van. And the other reason well, like I said before, we did go with car builders because of their convenience, and it comes with this really good instruction kit. So this will be personalised to the box you bought. So it's saying how many boxes to use on the wheel arch, so half a box, 2.5 on the walls, and 1 box for the roof, and then we've got 1 box for the doors. So yeah, lays it out really nicely and has a set of instructions. So when you're a newbie or a beginner to all of this, having those instructions and the convenience is just super helpful, and that is why we went with it in the end. Unfortunately, insulation is one of those things that it's really hard to test. You can't change it down the road. You have to pull everything apart. It's just, yeah, one of those things that are really, really hard to test unless you're doing the exact same build in one van versus another and in the same environment. Obviously, you're going to have the wall paneling, which is another layer of insulation, and then we've also got the solar panels on the roof, which are super thick. That's more insulation as well. So anything covering those walls is going to help keep you cool in the summer and warmer in the winter, which is not something you have to worry about too much here in sunny Australia. So we're just going on, giving everything just a super quick clean. We'll start with the easy bits, the walls. We are not cutting out any windows in this van, but we are going to inlay some of it. We obviously have the huge windows out the back, and it's Australia. This door is always going to be open. So we're going to start with the walls. Certainly looks like the easiest place to start. Basically, you don't need to go for 100% coverage. I think they say around 75%. We've got 2.5 boxes to do the walls, so I think if we just lay those out, we'll have an idea of what works where. 1, 2, 3. All right, wish us luck. We'll set up a time lapse now and let you know any mistakes we've made. Alright, so generally what you would do before doing this stage is actually drill your holes and everything you need in the roof. We are still waiting on we've just finalised our electrical, what we need, so it's in the post, it's on the way. So we're just going to measure out where our fan holes are going to be and just insulate around that, because we don't need to waste, sound deaden. We don't need to waste a sound deadener on that. But, I mean, I'm sure you're all aware how an empty van sounds. Pretty knuckly. Hey Ben, do you want to do the roof for us? Yeah, it's just like a hollow noise. So we lived in our old van and it was done quite dodgily. We loved it, it was great, but it wasn't done to the highest of standard like we're doing this van. And I can tell you there was no way that was sound deadened. And it was fine when we were driving. But yeah, we are doing this step properly. Get rid of all of that noise. Obviously, once you have everything in the back of the van, you're not going to hear that anyway. So I'm not saying sound deadening is essential at all. It just comes in the pack and it's another layer and it's not going to hurt, is it? So yeah, let's chuck as much on as we can. We're going to measure out the roof. Ben's going to have to do the roof. It's too tall for me. We'll let you know what it sounds like afterwards, because it is rattly when we drive, and we got caught in a rainstorm the other day. We could barely hear each other. But again, once there is a hole back in here, you're not going to hear that from the driver's seat. Hopefully we'll have a bit left over to do up here. That'll only help. That will definitely help whilst driving. I'm procrastinating. Can you tell? Ben's working.
Yes, I can tell.
Okay, we've done a few panels now, and I thought I'd show you how to do one. Super easy to put on. I'm really happy we've gone this way. This one's a bit of a big one, so we're going to have to cut one. But I'll just show you how to put one on. Literally, it comes like this. Rip off the bits on the side. Ben's dropping things there. And we're just going to put this one here, and then we'll cut another one and put it underneath. So literally just pull the sticky bit out, that's on the other end. Pull it through, roll it down. Okay, you can see I haven't stuck that on properly because I don't want these little bits on the corner to be there. It comes with a handy little knife, and these are pretty easy to cut and pretty pliable. So it's not super stuck on until you go over it with this. So you do have a bit of room to move if you make a mistake. And then you get your little snazzy roller and go over it. As you can see, it really is that easy. We've stuck them on. We're going to set up a cutting station outside. Excuse me. I think it's the dust. But I'll show you how much difference it makes. Oops, kicking things. I haven't done the door yet, so we have done a little bit of the door. But for reference, can you hear this? See how echoey and hollowy it is? If we come over here where I've deadened, compared to, it's a huge difference. So let's get going with the roof, the floor, all the sides. We're gonna map it out, do what we can, like the big bits, and then we'll go in with all the leftovers and cut them up and do all the extra bits that we can fit with what we've got. Super easy to use. The sticky back and the roller is actually a very easy and fun task. So we're going to put on some good music. Hey Ben, what should we listen to? Probably Triple J. We've missed that when we're in Europe. All right, catch you later. Right, we've made some huge progress. We're getting started on the roof now. Laid it all out, checking we've got enough left in each packet. But I just thought I'd show you how we cut it to size, and honestly, I'm just so impressed with how easy this kit is to use. So it's just, see how it's got the little lines on it? So you just line them up with the little shapes you need, come over to our cutting station, slice it off, put it on. You've seen the rest. So while we finish off this, we're going to finish up and show you the big reveal at the end of stage 1 insulation. This van is now completely sound deadened. Everything is done. The stuff at the car builders was so good to use. Little grid on the back, the squidgy rolly thing was super handy, and the Stanley knife that came with it was really strong. We've also gone through and put all this silver tape around any edges and things that were joined together. But this van is looking very schmick right now. Went for a drive. It makes such a difference. But again, like I said before, of course, once everything's in this van anyway, it is going to sound different. But yeah, if you can hear this, we'll compare that to the start. I'm not knocking on the silver. It's just an insane difference. That drumminess, that drummy sound isn't there anymore. One thing that we're really happy we did, we sound deadened all in the overhead. This was some extra stuff. We had plenty to do, plenty left. So you can see we've really gone ham in here. We're not going to put any cover on this. So all of this is going to have roof, all of this is going to have walls and be covered. But this section, we're actually going to bring this out and make it another overhead. But because it's not going to have anything in there, just clothes or whatever we store in there, we thought it was really important to use some extra sound deadening in there to help the noise in the beautiful cab. So we're now ready to start stage 2, which is the insulation and the bit I'm most nervous about. So let's see how it goes. Alright, so we've done our practice round on this first one, and we're really happy with how it's come up, and of course it's nice and easy to applicate. So I'm going to show you how we did it. Oh, Ben's what are you doing? So this is definitely a little hodgepodge job because we just got a small roll. Should just be able to tape it in 2, but Ben's making it difficult, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
So we just cut this, and then we're going to trace around the edges, cut that, and then we'll come down here, trace around it, and then cut out of it. So we'll show you how we do it. You can obviously just put the stuff up there and cut around it, but we thought this might be simpler. We think it is, and it'll be way neater. So we've done 2. We're really happy with how it's come up. Look, it fits in there really nicely, and it applies. Fantastic. That's Uncle Albie coming telling me we got a new parcel, so we need our little parcel opener. What have we got today? There's a new thing delivered every day. I think this might be our diesel heater. It's my guess. Let's see. There's literally a delivery like every day. It is! It's our diesel heater. Job for you, Dad. Hi. Look what came. This is for you.
Oh.
Well, not that. That looks like a pea jug. Our cheapest chips diesel heater. Meant to be really good. So we've been running the fuel dry. So when we pop this on, we can put the diesel straight. We can sink it straight into our fuel tank instead of adding the second tank on.
Anyway.
Alright, so now we've traced and cut our piece. Check it goes not this way, it goes this way, I think. Yep, so this one doesn't have any like runs in it. We'll show you how to do those in a bit, but that's why we're starting with the windows to keep it nice and simple. Just start with one end and roll it down. Now this stuff's really sticky. Been watching a lot of the car builders video. It's really sticky if you stick it on. If you just lick your fingers, it doesn't like get so sticky. So once we line it up, I'll get Ben to just help me to hold it in the bottom. Okay. Grab our tool again, and you can use the back to really get in there. Then it's super simple. Literally and try and do it in one motion down. You don't want to, what they really say with car builders is to not stretch it, so compress it rather than stretch it. Otherwise, something to do with this is insulation, so you don't want to stretch it. The insulation factor is going to go down. So really try and go, whether you're going top to bottom or side to side, go in one row. Don't skip and go back, if that makes sense. And around the edges where there's a little lip, we'll get the back in there to really get it stuck down properly. Don't know if you'll be able to see, but there's a little air bubble here. So it's not coming flat like the rest of it's really flat. Little air bubble here that I've made. So all we need to do, so you just need to stab it twice and let a bit of the air out. There we go. Literally a tiny hole. That is perfect. So I'll show you the mistake I made on the first one. So you can see here, this is the first one I did. We've got that ridge in the middle, which is like this. So that ridge in the middle. So that's when you really need to go across and then push it this way and in. And I went a little bit, we mismeasured slightly on the side here. And you can cut, but this stuff is so sticky once it's stuck on. So I decided just to leave it because the next step is the van liner, which is going to come over here. Sorry, not the van liner, the van seal, which is going to come over here, creating that thermal bridge. So yeah, we've decided it's unnecessary to fiddle around with that. Well, yeah, we're really proud with how this is looking, and we'll keep going. We've got, who's this like? What are you, the Wicked Witch of the West End? Cutting with Ben. This is what your art degree's coming in handy for.
I know. So much money. Just such life skills.
This could be your legs. You've got really long legs, Ben. Oh, now we have to do the door, which sucks because it gets so hot in here. Don't worry guys, when we make a lot of mistakes. We just assumed this side was the same as this side. I honestly thought you checked it. You can pretty much do this all yourself, but it's really helpful if you have a second person to help hold up the other end. That way you know you've lined it up and you're not going crooked on the top or the bottom. One thing we have found, and the only complaint I have, is these rips sometimes along the way and you get it caught underneath, so just be careful that you're pulling from the middle and not too harshly so you don't get bits that aren't stuck on. So I've just revealed a little bit of it. I'm going to make sure it's all lined up straight. Right, so that's stuck on. You're going with your roller. And then your lovely assistant goes and cuts the next piece. You can let go. So once it's stuck on, I've only got about this much stuck on and it's so strong, we just come back here and we gently pull along. See, it ripped a little bit at the bottom there. And you just pull along like a little bit at a time. On these flat pieces, you can pretty much do a massive chunk at once, but we're going to make sure we stop before we get to this little nodule. Because there's a little recess at the top, I'm going to go along with the back of the roller to just really make sure it's all stuck in there. And don't go along and stick it on one end. If we're going acrossways, we're going to make sure we're going, you can go up and down, but we're making sure we're doing this bit, then this section. Otherwise, it's not going to stick right and you might get those air bubbles or you might end up stretching it. So now we've stuck up to this bit. We want to make sure we're going down and then we're pushing into this rib and then coming out. So it's not going to be pushed in. We're going to push it in first. So we push it down with the back and then just slowly pull along. And you can feel it. See how that's going in there. And just lightly push down on the other side. So there's still enough in there to really get in. And that way, we're not stretching it and keeping the quality of this, I keep saying sound deadening. We're past that stage, keeping the quality of the insulation, which is really important. yeah, this stuff is so sticky and really good to use. It's not as forgiving as the stage 1 sound deadening. So you've had your practice with the stage 1, and now this one, once it's stuck, all the black stuff gets stuck. But it is still very nice, easy, and most of all, satisfying to use. See, we've overshot it here, so if I leave this off, I might cut this down with the Stanley knife. That is it. So we've done all of our window holes, so they're the big parts. Next, we're going to tackle the roof, and then whatever's left, basically you just add to any area that you sound deadened, not on the gap, straight onto it. But we want to make sure the big areas are done before we go into those little nooks and crannies. So I think we'll time lapse the roof, because that's going to be really hard to film. Same principles as on the window, just above your head, a little bit harder. And hard for me because I'm only 5 foot and can't reach the roof. So Ben's going to be doing a lot of this one. Okay, I think this might sound a little bit stupid, but we've done the windows and I actually feel like it's cooler in here, because normally I can't stand in here and do anything with this door closed. But it's working already, so I can't wait to get this roof done. Also, we are sitting under a massive insulated roof as well, but it is bloody warm, and we haven't got the holes in the roof for the window for the fans yet, which before I was doing this stage I really hoped we have, but we're waiting for our solar panels to arrive. I don't want to make a mistake cutting a hole in the roof, because you can't undo that mistake, can you? Let's go. Let's tackle this roof. I'm procrastinating. Roof and then lunch, and then maybe I might rouse one of my aunties. I think we need to go for a swim. What do you reckon, Ben? Do the roof and then we'll go for a smoothie and a swim?
Not a bad idea.
Ah, there we go. What's it called? Why is my brain not working so much today? What's a reason to do something?
Incentive.
Incentive. Cool, that's the incentive. Just like that, Ben's had an arm workout.
Ceiling is done.
Ceiling and all the windows, and we've only opened 2 rolls. It's hot work.
Very
Time
hot.
for a lunch.
Yeah.
Dad's gone to get hot chips.
Perfect.
That and a nice fresh cold drink, because we need a break. That was hard work. Now we gotta figure out what to do with the rest of it.
2,000 years later.
So I've almost finished all of the sound deadening and insulation. I've got a couple of meters of roll left just to fill in the gaps now. But if you do this yourself, the most satisfying thing is when you just eyeball a section. You're like, oh yeah, that looks like this much. And you nail it. I just did that up here, and what a win. Just did that up here. How bloody good is that? So yeah, not too much to do left on this. I'll be very happy when it's done, because then we can get started on more interesting stuff. The electricals. Once this is done, we can do the electricals, which is super exciting. So yeah, I'll crack on. Just want to come in and show you how good this cut is. Look at this. So the floor's got these little plastic things all over them, which have been real annoying. And then laying this over that. I've got 2 pieces left, and then it's done. It may not be the prettiest, but it's done. Let's get this final piece in, hey? God, surprisingly difficult to peel with one hand. Sticky. This stuff is so sticky. Da da da.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
Now the fun part. let's show you how it looks. Looks pretty schmick. So that's stage 2 done. So we've done the sound deadening underneath. Then we've put the van liner on top of that. We've now got to sort out the electrics and put all the wiring in. And then once that's done, we can do the van seal, which is the 3rd layer, which is like a sheet that will just run down here, leave a couple of inches gap as just proper insulation. But listen to the difference. So good. Yeah, it's been long, it's been frustrating and tiring and hot, but we got there.
Much later.
A lot has happened in the in-between since we cut off probably, 10 seconds ago? We have since made the entire cabinetry, sorted out all the wiring for the electrics, done all the roof, the solar, underneath. Everything is pretty much spot on and ready to go. Fingers crossed. So yeah, we finalised everything. Everything is being started to be painted, so we are ready to chuck the final layer of insulation on so we can get the walls on and stick everything in for good. So it is time for stage 3 of the van build. Stage 3 of car builders. So that is the van seal or the van liner. So just as a recap, we've got stage 1, which is the sound deadening, stage 2, which is the thick layer of insulation, and stage 3 is going to go across all of this and create a thermal barrier, which is meant to help predominantly with the colds, but yeah, definitely going to help with the heat as well. So let's see how we go. We've got 2 rolls of 10 meters. We've got to cover it all up. Wish us luck, because there's not a lot of information on the internet of how to do this properly. So this is why we're trying to make a nice detailed video for you today. Before you get started on this, you do need to have a bit of a plan of attack. And like I said before, have your van very much laid out. But our plan for this is to tackle it acrossways into how we're going to insulate it. So let me video across the other way, and hopefully Ben in post can put a few animations over the top. We've got bearings 1, 2 and 3. So the roll that we've got is 1 meter wide, so it fits between here and here. So this is going to be our starting point because there's no holes needed. So we're going to put a whole roll all the way across here, and it's going to come down, and we are going to finish it on this metal bit here, so we can finish it across here, cut it off, stick it on, and then that will allow us to have a piece that comes down across the top. Going to ignore that middle section for now, and we're then going to cover along this bottom bit. See all these holes? So the holes are where the cold air and the heat can come in. So that's the bits that we really need to cover. So we're going to start with those 2 priority areas being the roof and then the bottom bits of the hole, and whatever we've got left, we're going to try and fill in the gaps afterwards. So we'll try and fill in a bit there, some there, and some there. Not sure what we're doing with the door net yet, but the same goes for this side. Fill in there, there. This is a lot bigger of a recess. So if your van build is a little bit simpler, you won't have recesses in them. Really stoked with these recesses, by the way. They are going to have a nice little curvature in them and look really cute. But this makes it really hard to do this thermal layer now. So because you've got to cut out a big hole or line around them. So that's why I've decided to go over the roof into the top in one piece, do the bottom, and then fill in these gaps. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's going to work really well. But we're going to take you along and let's see how we do. So, for this part of the project, you're going to need 3 things. You need the thermal liner, you need some of the provided spray from the pack, you also need some tape. We're going to have a go at this first one. Probably going to be a few blunders, but we'll explain it more in the next one. Pick the easy spot to start first. Here goes nothing, happy for me to spray. We'll stick this bit.
Yep.
And then maybe like a little bit along there, and then we'll do it on this. So it's going to be from here.
Pretty easy for me. First sheet done.
Now, as an added layer of security, we're going to tape it all off. So this is going to stay on. It's going to have ribs on top of it and the wall on top of it, so it doesn't need to be insanely strong. First impressions, very, very self-explanatory and easy to use. So yeah, I think we'll skip to a time lapse and explain any nuances we find along the way. So the gist of this is super easy. Cut, spray, wait, stick. Super good. So you cut it to size, obviously measure a few times, check it fits, do a dry fit, spray it, you spray it and you leave it for 1 to 2 minutes so it gets a bit tacky. Stick it on and then that's it. You can put some extra tape over the top, but we found this is sticking pretty well. We are going to go through at the end and put the tapes when we have a join, so 2 on top of each other, but super easy and really simple to work with like the rest of the car builders. Honestly, this stuff is actually very much worth the money.
Yo MTV, welcome to our spaceship.
It honestly does look like being in a spaceship in here. It is a bit eerie and we are, I'd say, 75% of the way through, but we're going to finish this video here. The rest of the little bits we have to do are leaving open because we haven't put in the in-wire to plug into power, and we've got a bit of plumbing to put on there and just to finish off the wiring. But if you can't tell, if you can't tell from this video, we're super happy and stoked with all the car builders. The 3-stage kit, definitely would recommend it. So good to work with.
100%, yeah. So easy to use.
I'm worried about spending the extra money because it felt like a lot of money, but yeah, super stoked with how it's turned out. Obviously, we've got one more test to do and that's actually living it, but every time we've added a layer, it's been significantly cooler inside the van, hey?
Yeah, way cooler. Instantly noticeable.
Yeah, super easy to work with. Let us know if you've got any questions below, but please, if you like this video, subscribe, follow our journey, help us along. Yeah, super stoked with this, and we'll catch you next week when
something else happens with the build of the van.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening next week.
Who knows?
It's kind of the state of life at the moment.
We don't.
Welcome to van building 101. It's intense. Alright, bye.